Today we're going to be talking about some biomechanical concepts by way of a volleyball serve. Steven, can you show us some volleyball serves?
Sure.
While Steven warms up, the three concepts that we're going to be talking about today are the kinetic link principle, specifically momentum, ground reaction forces, base of support, along with center of mass. The first concept is the kinetic link principle, specifically momentum. Kinetic link principle is the idea that all body segments contribute to the final endpoint velocity. Momentum is being generated by jumping or running, and the momentum is traveling down the arm to create a greater velocity to reach the ball. To explain these three concepts, Steven's going to be completing three different serves. For the first serve, he's going to be standing completely straight on the line and serving the ball. For the second serve, he's going to be jumping straight up in the air and serving the ball. And for the final serve, he's going to be running and jumping to serve the ball. Steven, was your warm-up sufficient?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and show you the first serve. Steven, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't go anywhere.
And let me tell you why. According to the kinetic link principle, Steven did not have all of his body segments working to complete the serve over the net. Enough momentum was not generated to have the ball completely go over the net. Since momentum is conserved by running or jumping, and Steven did not run or jump, there was little to none momentum created, therefore causing the velocity to decrease and not having the ball go over the net. And now we're going to be showing you the second serve. Steven, are you ready for the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. So for this serve, Steven just jumped straight up in the air and served the ball. There was more momentum created in this one, and we're going to be talking about ground reaction forces. So the ball was able to go over the net because Steven generated enough force with the ground by jumping that he was able to jump higher, therefore creating a greater distance for the ball to travel. As Steven jumped, the ground pushed back onto him, allowing him to jump higher.
Having already given the definition of ground reaction forces, we want to go a little more in depth by taking a look at a graph and comparing it to Steven's vertical jump. Ground reaction forces can be drawn as vectors having both horizontal and vertical components to be used to plot on a graph. If you want to take a look at point A, you notice that point A is constant because this would be where Steven is just standing still, which means that the ground reaction forces are equal to his body weight. Now, if we look at points B through F, those represent the preparatory phase of Steven's jump, which just means that he is bending his knees to aid in the vertical movement of the jump. There's a dramatic rise and fall in the graph during these points because the ground reaction forces are having to apply more force during that prep phase, followed by a decrease of force during the propulsive phase. The time between F and G is when Steven is in the air, and then the ground reaction force is at zero because there's zero contact with the ground. Lastly, we see a quick spike in the graph at point H because this is Steven's landing, having a lot more force contacting the ground, causing an increase in the ground reaction forces.
And for the final serve, Steven will be running and jumping to create enough momentum. We'll be talking about base of support and center of mass. Steven, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did I just fall?
Chill. I'll tell you why you just fell. Okay, so let me talk about your base of support and your center of mass. Your base of support is the area where your body makes contact with the ground, and your center of mass is usually in your umbilicus, and it's the point as to where your body's mass is equally distributed throughout your body. When you jumped in the air to serve the ball, your center of mass went outside your base of support, therefore causing you to fall.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and review the concepts. Steven, what'd you learn?
So on my first serve, when I was standing serve, I didn't generate, according to the kinetic link principle, I didn't generate enough momentum from my legs to add enough force when I hit the ball.
Okay, so the kinetic link principle says that you need to have all your body segments contributing to the endpoint velocity, and because you didn't generate enough momentum, therefore the velocity decreased because all your body segments were not working together.
Oh, okay. So on my second serve, my jump serve, due to ground reaction force, when I pushed down against the ground, it pushed me back up, allowing me to explode higher and hit the ball over the net.
That's exactly correct. Good job.
Okay, cool.
And for the third concept, we're going to be talking about base of support along with center of mass. The base of support is the area where your body makes contact with the ground.
And then on my third serve, I fell over because my center of mass, which is equally distributed throughout my body, was outside my base of support.
Right, because the distribution of your body's mass was not equal, therefore causing your center of mass to be outside your base of support, and therefore you fell.